Hi, welcome back to the garden. I want to talk to you today about seasonal transitions and microclimates within the garden. It's late August here in Tucson, Arizona, and that means that our fall planting opportunities are right ahead of us, and maybe even right now for certain parts of the garden. So we have really interesting seasonal overlaps here because we can keep planting and harvesting warm season varieties for actually the next several months, but we can also start planting some of our cooler season crops very soon as well. So how do we choose what areas of the garden where we can put cooler season crops? So we're looking for spaces in the garden, maybe areas where we have removed some plants that were no longer productive. And we're also looking for shady areas here. And this spot is really interesting in this particular garden. If you've followed along before or watched some of my classes, I've talked about how this garden has this wall along the southern part of the garden. And as the sun starts making its transition more towards the southern hemisphere, then even something like this mesquite tree here can start casting a shadow. And that's what's happening here all along this strip of the garden bed. So if I wait too long to plant my cool season crops here, this won't get very much sunlight and they'll have some difficulty getting established. But if I plant them now, which is typically early, and you can see I have some beets and some Solanova lettuce that Tommy Birch at Moonlighter Farm grew, I'm going to be putting those here in this little microclimate where it's a little cooler than the rest of the garden. And if I start my cool season crops in this little microclimate, then these will get really well established and productive pretty early in the fall. And then you'll see over there, for example, I have those sweet potato vines. I'll be pulling those out in September, and I'll be planting some of those areas that are in more full sun. I'll plant those a little bit further into the fall because they have plenty of sunlight. So knowing what your microclimates are in your particular garden is really helpful. And this is the time to be making some observations and planning for those next crops. If you need help with that and you're here in this area, or if you'd like to do an online consultation, get in touch with me and I'll help you plan out these next phases of your garden so that you can get the most out of it. Thanks for watching.